Mine. Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Apologize for the delay. I've been looking forward to this Wednesday because Slowpitch is carries a particularly large amount of importance here at World's Hottest Bats because realistically, at the risk of alienating the baseball and fast pitch community, the Slowpitch guys, you're our core audience, and we value your input in your business. So, a couple of the questions that I was asked yesterday was by I think Boris was basically wondering about the monster bats and the floating inner barrel. Now, we want to give information here, and I'm not trying to be make a judgment against a bat manufacturer or a particular kind of bat. Everyone knows the monster bats are hot; they're great bats. But I like to think that. Well, I like to see in the industry manufacturers calling things what they actually are. So they have a floating inner barrel technology. Okay, so that's the floating inner barrel, and what it is it's not necessarily a technology that's increasing the performance of the bat, more of a technology and their way of meeting the standards that they need to meet in order to get that magical ASA stamp on their bat. So yesterday I touched on linear and non-linear differences between bat construction. Now, the non-linear construction is what Monsis kind of subscribes to. They want a barrel that intentionally fails on the outside, but on the inside, there's something that makes that barrel that's failing on the outside physically impossible to compress past that point. And that's what the floating inner barrel is for Monster. Now, I am kind of judging what it's called because of what it is. In my opinion, and this is because I take apart bats, the real only bat on the market that has a true floating inner barrel, actually the only two bats, are going to be the DeMarini Flippers and the Easton Double Barrel, which didn't really kick off like they wanted to last year, but still a pretty decent bat for hitting soft balls. And not softballs, but I mean 52 core balls. So the floating inner barrel it's not necessarily a floating inner barrel. It's a governor. It's jammed into the bat, and a barrel, by definition, is a round cylinder, and it's long, and it should be the same length as the barrel of the bat. I'm sorry, the actual outside shell of the bat, and it's not. Flipper has it, the double barrel has it, but this is actually what is on or inside of the Monster, and it's a governor. I mean, it's a solid piece that's held in place by some foam. And that's the floating inner barrel technology, and it gets the job done. I'm not knocking this, but it might not be a barrel. But anyways, Monster bats are really great. They're hot right out of the wrapper. They got a relatively good amount of durability, so that's that question right there. I think somebody else asked about the Adidas Melee. And I guess I'm supposed to talk about why somebody would want the Melee. Well, you know, the Melee is a good bat because there are certain people that just like the one-piece feel. They like that feel of virtually no handle flex whatsoever. And if you like to swing an Ultra 2 back in the day, or one of those old Worth Mayhems, those orange ones, you're going to dig the Melee. It's another version of it. And realistically, from a bat standpoint, it's not really all that different from the Ultra 2. The construction is the same, but the difference between the Ultra 2 and the Melee is going to be in what the composite and the consistency of the composite. The only way I can really describe it in layman's terms is the material that's in the Melee is a little bit more dense than what is in the Miken Ultra 2. And little side note, there's not a lot of people who are probably going to believe me on this one, but Worth, which is a sister company to Miken, has for the first time ventured outside of their production facility that they usually make their bats in, and they have gone, in my opinion, gone to the same place that makes the Adidas Melee, because the new Worth Wickeds have the same cap, the same barrel, the same consistency of the composite as the Adidas Melee. I mean, it's pretty dang close to the same bat. So I'm wondering if they outsourced to another facility to make that happen. But and that's just my educated opinion. And let's see what else here. We got, let's see, what else are we going to talk about? I think somebody else actually had talked about, they wanted me to touch on the governing or inner barrel technology that is in a Miken or a Worth ASA bat. And it's pretty simple, man. You know, let's see here. This is it. This is what's inside your Miken and Miken and Worth product. And this is a governor. It's a hollow tube that basically kind of hovers inside the barrel, and just like on the Monster, even though this is a different answer to the same question, just like on the Monster, this barrel right here is the thing that physically restricts that outside barrel, which fails at ASA standards, and it just restricts it from going any further. So it's a governor. It's not a performance enhancing device. It's just not. And people will make the argument that it's there for structural stability or whatever, or the bat's going to break if this isn't in there. Well, that's just not true. So, yeah, so that's the Miken and Worth governing system. The most important thing to remember is they're both good answers to a nonlinear bat construction. So if anybody wants to chime in, ask me a question. I'm looking at the feed right now, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I guess I'll hang out here for a second. We'll see if anybody wants to chime in. Hey, Boris, you know what? I just saw your question, and you are actually the person I was responding to because you touched on the Monster question last night. Now, does the floating air, does taking this out of a Monster bat help the performance? Absolutely. 100%, 150% and twice on Sunday. This removal of that will allow a barrel which sits at probably right around 1100 PSI, which fails per ASA standards. That removal is, yeah, it increases performance 100%. I can't say that it's going to do much for the, you know, the durability, but you know, we make hot bats here. Let's see what else we got here. We got anybody else chiming in? Well, since nobody else is kind of chiming in here on any subjects, what I'm going to do, and this is going to be something that we're going to try to do on a weekly basis for each one of our live feeds, is we're going to give you guys kind of a thank you for coming and being a part of our oh, all right, never mind. I'll get back to that in a second. Just a little teaser for you. Let's see what we got here. Johnny, I'm going to address your hot W question. My opinion on the hot W is.
So you got 2 more comments, right?
Yeah. Right. My opinion on the hot W is that the bat is just plain filthy. It is. Unfortunately, I think Dudley's kind of running into the conundrum of, man, they really wanted to make this bat that just blew doors on everybody else right out of the wrapper. And you know what? You can do that. That is totally doable from a manufacturing standpoint. But unfortunately, it's just the first batch was great. The first batch was great. But the production batch that the mass populace was buying, and that was somewhere back in like February, you know, they just weren't the same. And they just weren't the same. And I even hate to admit that there is differences in manufacturing that manifest themselves so much that it can take a good bat, which is durable, in November of 2018 when the Dudley released the few that everyone was trying out and reviewing, and just between that time and February with the next production run, they had a bat that was just not durable. But to get back to your question, my opinion of the Hot W is that it is a phenomenal bat. And I think that Dudley has really done a great job, and they've stumbled upon something that they stumbled upon making a bat for a group of real passionate softball players that were largely misrepresented or underrepresented in the field of manufacturing these bats. I mean, because of the Hot W being so hot out of the wrapper, they have literally taken the 65, 70-year-old ball players who've been playing longer than all of us, who have more passion for the sport than almost anybody, and they've given them a really nice bat. And with that being said, I think the Dudley Hot W is awesome. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily the greatest bat to hand to the home run hitter that can knock it 400 feet, who, you know, they can swing a little bit. So, anyway. The old Mizuno sleeves, Mark, rolling always does something to sleeves, whether it's metal or composite. There are people in our industry who will say that you can't roll metal. Well, you know what? I disagree with that 100%. And I'll tell you why. Because I'll just bring some quick science into it. It's not like rocket science, but it's just basic high school science. You know, materials are made out of molecules, all right? And when you structure those molecules in a particular shape, they create a memory or a place that they should have been. So when you roll metal, you can actually make that metal more malleable, but it doesn't stay in the shape, or it doesn't compress the metal and then just stay there. Metal has memory, and anybody who's ever welded or anything like that will tell you the same thing. Composite is phenomenal. I mean, obviously composite, I mean, that's easy to roll. So the answer to your question, Mark, is that rolling always does something. It might not do a lot in comparison to a composite roll, but it will do something. Let's see. Boris, will rolling a bat that has, I'm going to change your question a little bit so I can direct this across the entire industry. Will rolling a bat that has an inner barrel technology, that is a non-linear constructed bat, will rolling that will do any damage to the bat? You know, no, it doesn't. And I'm going to touch on rolling a little bit, and I'll go into it a little bit right now, but I'm not going to get too into it because I can talk for an hour and tell you about rolling. And it'll be a different point of view that no one really talks about. But what rolling is essentially doing is it's not really giving, there's two kinds of rolling. There's rolling to increase performance, and there's rolling, in my opinion, to increase longevity. And depending on how you do it, you can achieve each one of those goals. Now, if somebody brings a bat to me that is old, man, I think it has 2,500 cuts on it, and I could put that thing in the rolling machine and it's not going to release the composite any more than it already has, because that composite has already been released from the resin because it's got so many hits on it. So what I'll do is I'll roll a different part of the bat. And what I'm trying to accomplish by that is I'm trying to maybe just increase the sweet spot. But on a bat like that's so old and broken in, I mean, rolling it's not necessarily the best thing to do, or it's not the most effective thing to do. When I get a new bat straight out of the wrapper, you know, you don't go to town on that thing right away. I mean, the idea of rolling is to expedite the process of a normal break-in period so you can go out there, and swing your bat right out of the gate, and it doesn't feel like you're dead, and you're getting the maximum out of your bat right away. And that's cool. But on a brand new bat, I believe that rolling's real value on a brand new bat out of the wrapper comes from this. In production and in manufacturing, there are going to be inconsistencies in density, in thickness, that's just manufacturing. So when I roll a new bat, I keep that in mind, and I'll tell you why. Because if you take a brand new bat out and you hit a hard ball with it, guess what's going to happen? First of all, it's obviously not going to be that hot because nothing's really broken in on it. But the other thing that's going to happen is you're really, in my opinion, jeopardizing and not setting yourself up to have a bat that's going to last for the duration. Because I have no problem rolling a bat that's brand new. We do it all the time here. It's great, and I will increase the performance. But I'm not going to go crazy on that bat right out of the wrapper. Because what you end up doing is you end up breaking up one particular section of the bat more so much more so, that the rest of the sections of the bat that you think you're rolling are so far different when it comes to malleability and flexibility that essentially what you've just done is you've made a weak spot weaker. And in my opinion, that will affect durability. So, I like to take it easy on bats a little bit. And, let's see. And will it damage bats? No. Not if you know what you're doing. That's a fact. It certainly increases the performance, and done right, it is a great method to increase the performance of a softball bat. Let's see here. Nothing? Well, can you scroll up really fast and we'll just... Alright, let's see. Okay, well, I'll get back to the... This is what we're going to give to you guys in regards to a thank you for being the first group of guys who have come to our very first Slowpitch softball live broadcast here on the group. So I made a video about, I don't know, one of the first videos I made when we started conceptualizing this arena of communication between you guys and us. And I get to take apart these bats, and every once in a while I'll run into something that is so easy to prove, but everybody thinks that that's not the case, that I can't help myself but to just tell you guys about it. So basically what you're going to do is you're about to get a super freebie, and you guys are going to be privy to information that, I'm going to be honest with you, nobody knows. So, and then after we get done, and after I get done showing you this information, we're gonna extend an offer through World's Hottest Bats for you guys, kind of as a thank you, to $100 off this particular bat, if you get one with us. And essentially what you're gonna end up having is a smoking hot bat for much less than you can get from anywhere else, and that's just a fact. So everybody's familiar with the PT Platinum. That's the ASA 2017 white with the green lettering, whether it's max load or balance or whatever. Like an example of it right here. So this is it right here. This is actually a new one. Let me get this one right here. This is the Mike and Free PT Platinum 2017. Arguably one of the true hottest bats of the last 3 years, 4 years in ASA. It does really well with soft 52 core balls, and everybody wants this bat. And you know what? I don't blame them, because the thing's awesome. But unfortunately, bats should be traded on the Chicago Commodities Exchange. The value of bats fluctuates more than gold, I swear. It's just, sometimes it's hard to keep track of. But the value of a bat is based upon the demand that somebody has, and in our industry and in our sport, it's driven by opinion, okay? So I'm going to show you why this bat right here, you can get this exact same bat for way less, and I'm going to show you and I'll prove it to you. So this is the 2017 Freak PT Platinum. It's a 14-inch barrel. It's got a 4-piece construction. Now that means that there is an extra aluminum sleeve that sits somewhere in this area right here. And it provides additional rigidity between the handle and the barrel, because with this design, which was a genius design on Miken's part, Miken was like, man, let's shift some weight from the handle and move it that way. That's a great idea, Miken. I'm glad you did it, because you made a bat that was, this is a different bat. And I respect companies that go outside the box and try new things, and this is an example of it. They really kind of hit a home run with this design and this thought process when it comes to designing a bat. Now, this bat, if you'll notice, has a barrel that looks like it's long as an aircraft carrier. Now, the reason that that is like that is because this bat is all about shifting weight from not just where the knob weight is, but it's about putting it that direction, okay? And I'm not talking about end loading. I'm talking about mass. Okay, it's one thing to put weight right here, an ounce here. It's a whole other thing altogether to take that 1 ounce and shift it towards the front of the barrel, but at the same time, make that weight more and more and more and more as the further it gets away from the handle. So you create more mass, and that's what this bat is all about. Swing mass. Not swing speed, not swing weight, swing mass, okay? So now that we know that that's the bat, that's what I'm going to be talking about. The 2018 Miken Freak 4-piece ASA 14-inch, whether it's a balanced or a max load bat, is exactly the same bat as this bat right here. But you can go to the forums, you can go to guys that do BP videos, and they'll tell you there's no way that the 20th anniversary is that this is. Well, you know what? That might be the case, and everybody is entitled to their opinion. I'm simply trying to tell you what I think, and I'm trying to prove it to you. Because, you know, in an environment where it's largely motivated by opinion, I just want to show you that we can find out what the bat is, and it doesn't have to be this big if, you know. We can do that together, and that's what I want to accomplish, and we want to accomplish as a company, is to bring people who want to learn about these bats and the real information about them together so we can talk about this stuff. Mike, he just chimed in, what's the difference between that and the ASA Primo? Guess what, Mike? Nothing. The only difference is the color and the mold on the end cap, because I'm getting ready to show you that right now. The 20th anniversary and the Freak Primo are all the same bat. They're the same design. They even have the same production numbers on all of the parts before they put the bat together. I mean, if that doesn't say to somebody that it's the same bat, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. So let me show you. Let's see what we got here. Here is the Freak Max Load 20th anniversary, and this is the bat that we're going to be running a special on. And this bat right here is the same thing as the 2017 Freak PT. And you heard it here, man. I'm telling you that. I mean, I'm so confident that that's the case. The only variable to that statement would be if there was some kind of production, you know, difference. But when I see pieces of a bat that have individual numbers on them that are put together by the facility that's selling the bat, and they have the same number on them, yeah, dude, it's the same bat. There's no difference except for the mold on the cap, and that's it. So this is the Freak 20th anniversary. Do we have the Primo here? Shoot. All right. Well, anyways, I want to let you guys know that we've really only got probably we've got a fair amount of the Freak Max Load 20th anniversaries. That's the 14-inch barrel. I've also got about 3 of the balanced 20th anniversaries. And like I said, I'm going to give you the coupon code when I sign off, and you guys can use that. It's going to be good for the rest of the day only, and it'll give you $100 off this. So from a value standpoint, it doesn't get much better than that. So let me see what we got here. Best ASA bat to work for distance. Johnny. You know, that's a hard one to answer, because because these guys that make these bats, they're professional bat manufacturers, okay? But the other thing we got to remember is this is a relatively young industry. I mean, these guys, you know, DeMarini's been making bats for a bit, and they're definitely an industry founder, and they make great bats. But they make them different, and they have a different like way of looking at things. So I personally think that a well-worked, you know, when I get done with a Freak 23, I don't care what year it is. When I get done with a Freak 23 and I give it a really, really thorough breakdown and then re-engineer it, it's hard to argue that there'll be a bat that's hotter than that, and at the same time provide the durability that someone's looking for when they're purchasing the bat. I mean, everybody wants a hot bat, but they want to be able to swing it. They don't want it to break in 2 weeks, and we do everything in our power to make that happen. But right now, the Freak 23 is pretty awesome. And one of the reasons I think that it is so awesome and it has been performing and I've been getting such good feedback on it is because Miken has made an effort to get into the 12-inch game. And the 12-inch game is a barrel length concept that, over the years, barrels have been upwards of like 17 inches and down to 10 inches. And everybody has their own thing. Monster does the half sizes, so they do half-size barrels. Worth, because it's a sister company of Miken, they do half-size barrels, so 13.5, and Miken does 14 and 12. And then you got DeMarini, who honestly was probably the first company to really go into the 12-inch game. They make a good 12-inch bat too. I mean, if anybody ever swung one of the old school OG juggies with a 12-inch, oh man, sweet spot on that thing was garbage. But man, when you hit it on the sweet spot, and if you could figure out how to swing it and step back from that plate a little bit and hit it where it needs to be, that thing was nails. So, all right. Boris, the Miken Patriot question. Yes. I can't say that with as much certainty as the bats that I just touched on because I have not visually compared the exact numbers on the pieces on the Miken Patriot, but arguably you could make that argument, and it's incredible, and you clearly know what you're talking about because you saw the similarity of the rubber transition right here, and you said, hey, maybe that's the same bat too. That's all I did, and I proved it. So there's a good chance that it's the same bat too, Boris, but I'm not saying that it is because I haven't actually inspected the numbers on it. But yes, that is a 4-piece constructed bat, and it is a very high likelihood that that is the same bat. Let's see what we got here. I think that'll about do it. Let me see if do you have any aluminum rods here that I can show? Come on, baby. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, I don't have them. Basically, well, I was trying to find something that goes in. The 4th piece that you don't get to see on those bats is a little tiny aluminum tube. And it basically it's a hollow tube that creates rigidity because what happens is on this bat, on a 4-piece Miken bat, the interior diameter of this hole right here is larger than every other ASA bat that Miken makes. And think about what that does. What it does is the wall of the handle itself is going to end up being thinner. And what they've done, and remember I was talking about swing mass, is they took all that mass, not just weight, mass, right from here, and they shifted it, and they basically put it into the barrel. And not in the end, in the barrel, which is why this bat is so great. The sweet spot on this thing, you can fist one that you hit off of the transition on this bat, and it's going to actually go somewhere. The sweet spot on this thing is ridiculous. It's just such a good bat. Miken did such a good job with this design, and they'll continue to make it. Now, you are probably asking, why the 2018? Why the 20th anniversary? Why should I get that bat instead of the Freak Primo or the 2017? It's simple. This 2017 PT has an exaggerated price. A new one in the wrapper on eBay runs $600. The Freak Primo, I love Nike, but the paint job that they did with the clear coat on that Freak Primo from this last production year it leaves a little bit to be desired. I mean, the 2018 Freak 20th anniversary has neither one of those problems. And it's a perfect time to get on board with this because, and this is why I waited till this, because this is like gems that I hold in the back of like my mentality. I find this kind of stuff out all the time, guys. That's why I want to show everybody that there can be definitive information about these bats. And we can actually figure out what's really going on with them and make decisions about a purchase that you're going to make with some ammunition, man. So you're not just rolling the dice every time you're getting a new bat. And let's see here. Johnny, best new bat for a 44 375 balls. You know, although I haven't swung them yet, I would have to say probably. Dude, I gotta tell you, probably an Anarchy, some of the Anarchy stuff that they're coming out with. You guys need to keep an eye on that company. Those bats are really, really, really well made. And one of the things that I love about the Anarchy bat is the fact that when I take these things apart, there's probably about 6 or 7 commonalities that I can see in production. And I'm not talking about production of that. I'm talking about the actual manufacturing of composite. Now, depending on what factory these guys go to, and they're cranking these things out, I can tell where the bat was made, regardless of what the paint job says or regardless of who's releasing the bat. For example, I personally believe, you've heard it here before anybody else, that the same factory in the same place that Mazda gets the composite that they make their bats out of is also the same place that the new senior bat company Onyx, which makes a great bat for seniors, they are, in my opinion, made from the same facility. I don't know that for a fact, but when I take those two bats apart, the similarities are striking. All right, so the Mazda bat is a non-linear constructed bat, but what really makes the Onyx bat awesome is it's like a linear constructed, traditional construction of the same thing. Like, it's like a linear version of a Mazda. The Onyx is going to be, those bats are going to be durable as all get out. I can already tell you that. And I haven't even hit one yet, but you know, they're getting pushed pretty good right now, and they're a good bat. So let's see what we got here. How much performance increase can you expect on a single wall non-composite bat? Justin, that's a really good question. That's a super good question. I would have to say, well, can we scroll back up to that really fast? A single wall non-composite performance increase. Justin, I'm going to go ahead and when I talk about bats, I like to get on the same page so what I say is understood by everybody. So we're gonna call performance, and we're gonna measure it in compression, because distance and when it comes to hitting a ball, there's a lot of variables involved. But a compression reading, I can get an idea of, based upon that, what percentage of increase you're seeing. So, for example, a traditional single wall non-composite bat that it's probably going to be an ASA bat. I could probably get an extra 25% out of that, because if it is an ASA bat, it'll be failing right around 1425 or somewhere in that ballpark. And they're usually going to be out of the wrapper probably somewhere around 1700 or 1800 even some of those can get pretty high. So when you shave a single wall aluminum, you get immediate increase. I mean, you're not having to deal with any other technology in it. I mean, you're just taking material out and making it like a freaking water balloon launcher. I mean, it'll get the job done for sure. And that's the other thing that I want you guys to understand that we do here and we think about. You know, we're not manufacturers here. We're just trying to squeeze every ounce of performance out of these things. So when I see a bat that maybe it doesn't cost $300 retail, and maybe a bat that costs $200 retail, brand new, and I can get the same performance out of that, I mean, we're gonna start getting some bats out there that they're not the flagship version of what, you know, the manufacturers want you to have. Well, so be it. But I'm not going to work a bat for anybody or try to sell it to anybody that's not going to end up being worth your time. So it's a favorite 12-inch U-trip bat. Carl, man, this is the greatest. I gotta tell you, man, interacting with you guys like this is like the best thing ever. I don't have to type on a keyboard, and I'm not on a forum. This is rad. My favorite 12-inch bat has got to be probably in the last 2 years. I don't know what it is, but the U-Trip 12-inch Mikan Freak, that one that's like neon, not neon, but like a seafoam green, that real light one, is just, it seems to really perform well. I have actually been able to get that bat down to right where an ASA bat would fail simply by rolling it. Now, that's pretty incredible. You know, that's probably my favorite bat, but you know, favorite bats are, for me, I gotta tell you guys, and you guys will think that I'm crazy for saying this, but this is what is important when it comes to bats that doesn't get looked at. And it doesn't get looked at because it's not measurable, and it's not something that you can put a metric on. And that's feel. I mean, you know, Carl, like, you know, you're debating, you just said that you're debating against a Worth and a Mikan. Well, you know what? That's a good debate, because that bat is actually different. They have the half size of the barrel changes where that weight is on that bat from tip to end. And just that shift of the weight and where it's positioned within that bat, it makes a difference. So feel is something that does not get marketed by manufacturers, but in an industry and a sport that requires you to sit at a static position and explode at something, that your consistency is important in something like that, because you're trying to generate the same swing every time so you can be consistent and you get your batting average up. And, you know, that's why everybody goes at the box and they do the same thing. You know, I mean, like, I got guys in my team who will, like, you know, act like they still got metal cleats on and, like, you know, do the whole baseball thing. And, you know, everyone's got their gig. I've got it. Everybody watching right now has got their thing they do when they go up to bat. So I would say my favorite U-Trip 12-inch in the last 2 years is probably that 12-inch version of that 20th anniversary Freak. So can we scroll back down really fast? Carl, the other thing that you're going to need to make a decision about in regards to whether or not you you want to get a Worth or a Mikan, you should probably think about what kind of a hitter you are. If you're a really disciplined hitter and you know how to get the right part of the bat on the ball pretty consistently, the 12-inch version of anything is going to be better for that kind of player. And everyone talks about how sweet spot. I mean, it's all about what is important to you. What is important to you? That's it. I don't know. So I think feel's important. I mean, and nobody talks about it because you can't without making it sound like an opinion. But I'm telling you, I do some things with weighting on some of my bats, and that will blow people away. And it's just because it's a different way of thinking about what the bat is supposed to be, not just from where it hits the ball in your swing, but how it feels to you throughout the entire duration of your swing. From here all the way till you hit yourself in the butt with the barrel on follow through. So that's important. Feels important. Well, Carl, I got to tell you, you got 2 Freak 30s. That's a pretty amazing bat. So I mean, you're already where you want to be in terms of like, you know, don't worry. The Worth 12.5s or that one that I told you about will get you in the same ballpark as that Freak 30 for sure. All right, that's it. Cool. Yeah, Carl, I know the black and red one. That's definitely the one that I was referring to. That bat is filthy. Everyone knows it. If I get my hands on one of those, in fact, if anybody out there gets their hands on it, you call me. All right. You know what? I think we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for coming by again. And like I said, man, this company started with Slowpitch softball players. I play. Obviously, you guys do too. And please, 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 we're trying to stimulate the conversations with you guys right now and get this thing up and running. And it doesn't work without you guys because we need your input. And there's no wrong answers when it comes to these bats, man. There's no wrong answers. If you have an opinion, put it in the comment section, man. Nobody's gonna judge you. In fact, somebody might learn something because maybe your idea is so good and no one believes it, or you think that it's not good enough, and it really is, because it's a young industry. People have to continue to think about, different stuff. And so there's no wrong answer. So we just need everybody to interact. So that's the idea. So, after the live feeds are done, hop on our group page and just fire out some questions for us, like all day long. I don't even care. We'll just do our best to address all of them, and then feel free as well to go to our website. And, if you want a bat, I mean, there's nobody that does it like us. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, so just, give us a call and, we'll get you squared away. And one of the things that I'll do if you use the coupon code, which I'm about to give you, I will do my own weighting. I'll make the bat feel exactly the same, but I'll do it my way. And essentially what we're going to do is I'll dial the bat in for you. So if you have any questions and you put an order in through us, please feel free to, after you make the order, to email us, and I can communicate with you in an email or a phone call or whatever, and we can chat about it. But like I said, man, I don't have a lot of these things in stock right now, but this bat right here, this is a PT Platinum from 2017. I mean, if somebody says it's not, they're entitled to it. But we're selling them, and we're going to give you $100 off it for the rest of the day. So the coupon code is going to be Thermo Nuke, as in Thermo Nuke home run bomb. So that's THERMON as in Nancy, UKE. Thank you very much for coming by, and I'll see you later. Bye.